welcome to Happy Hour Chats at the Joy Spot. Hope you like my club. I love hanging. I've got a glass full of whiskey, okay, and a lot of thoughts and opinions. Let's get right to it. Today, I have three lovely women guests. We're close to Women's History Month, so don't hate and always appreciate. And happy Black History Month to everybody out there. A month on, not a month off. So we are talking today about music as the message. They've had one episode, and now they have episode 2 coming up called Sing Me to the End of Love. I have here with me Adrienne Danrich, writer, poet, composer, and illustrious soprano. Hello, welcome, Adrienne. You can find
Hello, Joy.
.com if you want to know more. But you are the birth mother of Music as the Message.
I love how you just phrased that, by the way. Birth mother. I like that. Yeah, giving birth, honey. Yes, that's what we do.
The Music as the Message. So who is Music as the Message?
Well, Music as the Message actually started last June after the murder of George Floyd. I was just so upset, and I felt like the only way that I could actually express that fully was through singing. And I contacted Mila Henry at the American Opera Projects, and we were talking, and I was trying to figure out, how do I use my art as protest? How do I do that? How do I reach out to people? And we decided that we were going to hold a vigil. It happened last June, and it was called A Vigil for Broken Spirits. And we had about 80 people in the room from all over the world, not just all over the country, all over the world, who came to this vigil because there was so much need for healing. And as you know, we were in a pandemic, or we still are in a pandemic, but these were early days in the pandemic. And there was a lot of shell shock on not being able to sing in your church choir, not being able to sing in the opera house, not being able to sing anywhere except for in your home. So after we had the vigil, I contacted Mila again, and I said, listen, I feel like we need to make a musical initiative. And this initiative is one where we sing and we commune. Even in our isolation, we have a community. And in this weird form of Zoom, we've been able to create a space where you really feel like you're there with the person and singing with the person. So how it happens is, I host the show, but I have special guests. I have my Music as the Message choir. And they pre-record their choir tracks, and then I sing to them, or my guests will sing to them. And the kicker is that this is interactive. So the people who come to the show get to sing along in their own homes as loud as they please, but on mute. Because, Zoom, you can't have two people singing at the same time. And honestly, I've gotten so many comments about the fact that it really felt like we were all together, even in this weird construct called Zoom. And one of my goals in life is to express the idea that music is music and people are people. And so within Music as the Message, I do every genre that I love to sing. I sing everything. R&B, we got some techno dance music coming. We got some opera, my first love, and we just spread it around. And then as far as the whole people and personnel, I love the fact that I live in Astoria, which, as you know, is probably one of the most diverse communities in the whole world. And I, with the Music as a Message, embrace that.
Beautiful. That's amazing. A lot of awesome creations have come out of this pandemic. And as you know, out of great sorrow can come great imagination and joy and dreams and all of these things. So that's awesome. I love everything that I'm hearing. And I can't wait to hear from Mila, who will step on too soon. But before she comes on, Adrienne, talk to us a little bit about why a Valentine's show? It's people are doing lots of things this month. People are doing Black History Month shows. People are doing Groundhog Day shows. I am. but there are lots of other ways to pull focus. Why Valentine's Day?
Well, music as a message is all about spreading the love. I mean, simplistically speaking, when you walk into or sit into the Zoom space, we are sowing love in, hopefully, in the hearts of people as we share our music, because I know that my music that I share is coming from love. As for Black History Month, for me, every month is Black History Month. And I've done, yes, and I've created some other things that, like a song that I just composed called Breathe, that I composed it with Drew Heminger, that was just sung for the Houston Grand Opera, Giving Voice, by my beautiful friend Nicole Houston Lane. And that song is dedicated to all Black lives and people of color who have been murdered, who have been harassed through systemic racism and hatred and fear. And so I've been speaking through my art in different platforms, but for music as the message, at least for this episode, I wanted it to be a huge celebration of love, all types of love, every type of love. Your mama love, your daddy love, your granny love. The only love we don't have in there is your pet love, but we include that too. So I just feel like it's important right now. Let's not forget where we just came from. A lot of strife. And so I really feel like my voice is most efficacious, if you will. That's a huge word. Why do you even say that word, efficacious? Who even says that? That's stuff you write in the email. Hold on, let me get another this little drink here. See, hold a minute. Efficacious. Cheers, girl. It's to spread love. It's to spread love. And you know what? Let's just face it, Joy. I am Black. I am stand proud in my Blackness. Yeah, did you notice I was Black? I stand proud in my Blackness. And like I said, I celebrate Black History Month, Women's Month. I celebrate that every year, and every month.
Was just saying, but yes, I understand. I said I wasn't calling you out, but I do understand.
Oh, I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like it at all. I embraced the question because it is important to know why. In Black History Month, there's some other things that I'm doing later on in the month, the things I just did, last week, performing in another production that was dedicated to Black History Month. But I think it's so important that we acknowledge Black history every single month, every single day. And why not? And so the fact that we have been designated the month of February to be Black History Month, oh, yay, wonderful. But I'm living that. At least I try to through my art. I've written a couple of shows dedicated to the lives of African-American people who have opened the doors for me, for you, for Camille, and for all of us African-Americans who are in this particular business of opera. And so, I celebrate my Blackness every day. And, February is no different for me.
I love it. Yes. And so speaking of love. And I do understand why you chose Valentine's, because love, for me, love equals life. Without love, there is no life. So I understand. We all grow from love. Everything comes from love. And with that, I would like to introduce our next guest. She is musical director, pianist, conductor, but she's also artistic director of American Opera Project. You can find out more about her at milahenry.com. Please welcome Mila.
Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. I just had such fun listening to both of you backstage, and I was smiling the whole way. So I'm happy to be joining you now.
Welcome, Mila. I'm so glad that you're both here. My first question for you is, who is American Opera Project?
Absolutely. Well, the American Opera Project is a Brooklyn-based producing organization. We develop, produce, and premiere new works of lyric theater. And we also have a couple training programs called Composers and the Voice, as well as a collaboration with NYU called the NYU Tisch Opera Lab. So we love creating new works and working with, a range of genres and artists and styles and in bringing operatic storytelling to the stage.
Amazing. That's great. Mila, how long have you been with AOP?
Well, that's a trick question because I've actually first started working at AOP in 2010 as an intern. And then I worked in the office for about 4 years and started working as the resident music director, at which time I met Adrian, actually, which is how we met doing a project for AOP. And then I freelanced for another 6 years or so. And then I came on board as artistic director 2 years ago. And so I'm in the middle of my second year as artistic director at AOP alongside our general director, Matt Gray.
Wow. So you've got some skin in the game there.
Little did I know I had set a plan from that first interview in 2010, but here I am.
Well, my next question was going to be, how did AOP come to collaborate with Music as the Message? But I think you just told me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Adrian's a longtime friend of the company of AOP, a family really of AOP, and certainly a longtime friend of mine because of that. And AOP is also how I met Opera on Tap, and so we're so excited to be partnering with Oot on Music as the Message as well.
Full circle, even though I'm making a square.
I did there, just connected some dots, and here we are.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so this collaboration, why this particular project? That I know you guys, okay, I'm not gonna listen, America, whoever's listening. I know Mila and Adrian. I may have worked with them several times in the past, okay?
Maybe.
We know okay?
Confirmed.
So we do plenty of projects in and out. We're always passing. Why this particular collaboration?
Well, as Adrian mentioned, Music as the Message was inspired by a vigil that we held in June that Adrian brought to us and said, we need to do something. This was during the time of the George Floyd protests. And we needed to figure out how to come together as a community and a musical community to be together, to heal, to talk, to converse, to listen, and to just, in a time of such great remoteness, to come together in as much of a room as we could and heal and learn together.
And also to grieve. It's just interesting that, not interesting, it's a human thing. When one has empathy, we can empathize with a person who we've never met before, never heard of them until we hear of them. And I really grieved for George Floyd. I grieved for the man. And I didn't know him at all. I still don't know him. All I know is his name. But what the murder was so blatant, and the country was totally ripped asunder, truthfully, as we all know. And yes, Mila said it perfectly well. A place to heal, a place to talk. In the vigil, I had a section where I called the safe space conversation, where people could actually speak on how they were feeling at that moment. And there were many tears by so many people who shared their experience, so many people who had no one in their own communities that they can actually talk to, but they were able to share it with us in the room, at the vigil. And so it was humbling, and it was an honor when someone shares their tears with you. That is huge. And I take that, and I felt so lucky that people would trust us in that room with their true emotions. And that's the type of environment that I've tried to create within Music as the Message as well, a space where we can all just be ourselves, be relaxed, be joyful, cry if we want to. And everybody's in it at the same time. So you don't feel like, oh, I'm going through this all by myself. So the unifying effect of music and of poetry and of just coming to the table with an open heart, I think helps everybody, including me.
I think trust is a really key word there. And it just reminds me of that idea of, when you've reached a certain amount of closeness with someone, when you can be in a space and say absolutely nothing. And I think in this case, we were there to listen, and we were there to support, and we were there to speak if we had something that we felt we needed to share. But it was certainly not a requirement or necessary. It was just being in a communal space together and supporting each other as separate as we were in our own rooms and our own Zooms and such. So it was really powerful and I think really magical in a sense, because it just expressed how we were all just trying to survive and try to figure out how to move forward and how do we do that together. And Adrian brought this idea of like, we have to do something, and here's one way to go forward. And I think it was 3 days before, 2.5 days before we held the event, and we just said, okay, like, let's do this. Yes, this has to happen. And it, was the beginning of music as the message and of this collaboration, even though we didn't know it yet.
That's amazing.
And also choosing songs that people can sing along to, that they know, that they recognize, the classical songs as well as any other genres, and putting the words in the chat so that people can really, really sing along if they choose to, having it available for them, What'd you say, Joy?
Like a virtual program,
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. You guys you sound more like healers than musicians. This sounds like a whole holy hospital for soul.
It's funny, Joy, that you say that, because we were brainstorming names for this sort of new program that we wanted to form. We knew we wanted it to be, or Adrian had mentioned music as the, what is the word we're seeking here? And we did toy with music as the medicine. And we felt that we didn't, we wanted to make sure that what we were offering was not something that was, by the book or based on a medical, diagnosis. We were not going textbook, right? We were really just seeking to use music as a way of communicating and finding common ground with each other. And so we landed on music as the message instead.
Well, yes, messages can messages of many things. Message of medicine, message of hope, message of love. That's awesome. And so, of course, you two can't do it all on your own. You need a badass producer to help you.
Yes.
Together, right? Yes. So that's going to bring us to our final guest, Camille Howard. She is an independent director, writer, filmmaker, and producer on this project. Welcome, Camille. You can find more about her at CamilleHoward.com. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Welcome another strong, beautiful Black woman to the panel. No shade to our fair-skinned women.
Okay, that was hilarious.
So anyway.
I love it.
Camille, welcome. So listen, as the series producer, because this, like I mentioned before, this is the second episode you guys are doing. So you've had one successful episode already. This is your second one. Camille, how have you been able to realize your own visions through collaborating with Adrian and Mila?
Well, it's been great. Adrian and Mila are very collaborative, which is really great. We share ideas at all of our production meetings and other side meetings. And I work very closely with Adrian on the structure of the program, the order of things, and I've been able to give input with regards to like some of the songs that we use, especially in our playlist that we welcome our guests with. And also we are in close discussion about which artists we feature and which artists we assign different poems and songs in the piece. And also, it's been for this episode in particular, it's been especially exciting because we were able to bring my dad on to. My father is a musician, a jazz musician, and composer, and
the lead. Yeah.
And so he's been able to hop on with us to develop a few tracks for our singers to perform next weekend. So it's a really great collaborative dynamic where we're all able to work together to share ideas to help really strengthen Adrienne's vision of each episode, each performance. So
do you have any specific visions of your own for these episodes?
Well, I think for me, I go to Adrienne first because she is, as you said, the birth mother of the piece. And so I let her huh?
I said we'll put that in Adrienne's credit.
Oh, right. I love that title. Yes, please. Thank you.
So I let her begin as the foundation. And then when we start speculating on what sort of like the title or like what the tagline would be for each performance, or so I get that hearing from Adrienne really helps me develop a concept or help enhance her concept of what the whole piece will be. And like gives me a starting place for coming up with ideas for music or researching poetry, or considering performers, because I think it's great to have our core group of our choir, but also bringing in new folk, elevating new folk, and giving other people job opportunities, and connecting Adrienne with artists that she hasn't had the opportunity to connect with before.
Do you mind if I share your nickname that I've given you?
Okay, sure.
Okay. Well, Camille Howard is my own personal Stacey Abrams because she gets things done.
Hey.
Done. I'm like, hey, Stacey, how you doing, girl? I mean, I am so serious. Camille will handle it. Kerry, what's that? Kerry Washington better watch out because Camille Howard can handle it. Yes. That's all I have to say. Okay, I'll mute myself again.
Okay. So, Camille, Kamala is not here, but Kamala Songkram is one of the composers that's working on these projects with you guys, this project with you. And I hear that she has remixed a classical aria that we know pretty well with EDM. Can you give us any insight as to how that came about?
Well, I think it came from Adrienne's desire to mix these two different types of music, classical with a different type of music. And I think in an effort to also be classical music, I think can be alienating for certain people who aren't already sort of in that community, that culture of music. And so we wanted to make sure that all of our attendees had a representation of music that they were interested in or found an access point to classical music. And so adding a little pop, like a dance vibe to something that is very familiar to our classical fans would create a piece that gives an access point for hopefully all who are present at our performance or watch the broadcast.
Oh, it's all about inclusion, huh? You just won't stop until the world is at peace, huh?
Well, you know what? My nickname from my family is Dr. Martin Luther King's daughter. No joke. Because from the time I've been, I just want people to, can we all just get along? That is my goal in life, is to, someone asked me to describe myself. And I said, the first thing I said is I'm a unifier. And I'd never uttered those words before. And I think that is how I've been since the time I was a wee lass. You know what? But let's just say, so we've talked about the vigil. We didn't hit on episode 1, but let me tell you about episode 2. Episode 2 had nothing to do with none of that stuff. We are there to partay, and we are. My little tagline that I had for the show, which didn't quite work out with the new title, is where classical music and every other genre you can think of mingle unabated. So the whole thrust of this program is about mixing. So I'll sing a song, and it's a pop song, and I'm going to sing it classically. Why not? Kamala is not only composing one dance tune, she's doing two for this one, and we have two special surprises. Oh my God! You have to come, because I'm just really, really excited about. We have a feature video. I won't tell you what it is, but we have a feature video, and we have a very special, famous guest.
Right there. Now, hey, now stop. You have got to leave them wanting more. Now, ladies, this is just a preview. We just want to wet everyone's chops, so we have to go soon. Okay, we can't stay forever. Okay. We're busy.
Yes,
we're booked. So the last question I have for everyone on the panel today is, and I'm going to start with you, Mila. Do you believe that this show on Valentine's Day will heal people?
Absolutely. I think with any show, whether we're, moving and grooving on Valentine's Day, or mourning or grieving or healing, that is, I think, one of the main goals of music as the message, is to offer some type of healing, however we need it in that moment. And so this show is going to be a lot of fun. We've got something for everybody, absolutely. And we've got a lot of friends and colleagues on board, as well as a charity organization that we're benefiting with our donations, 50% of our donations to Unlocal. And so we're really, it's all about love, as Adrienne said. And I think that love will also heal.
Fabulous. Yes. Camille, do you think that this project, this concert that you are conceiving, because listen, you're the adopted mother, all right? You're the other parent. So do you believe that this concert can heal you from some of the trauma that you may have experienced this year?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
I absolutely think so. I think for me, music has always been a go-to for healing for me, and especially getting to see so many artists of color, BIPOC artists performing. It gives me hope for the future, as we hopefully, when the doors open again, we get to see more faces of color singing classical and pop, and I think that'll bring in more people, that'll bring in more BIPOC audiences, and they'll feel more included and heard and seen. And that is something that's important for me in my work as an artist, is to normalize diversity. And so absolutely.
Awesome. Amazing. Adrienne, as birth mother healer, as Mama Odi, as the queen healer, I'm curious, because you've been at this a long time, you've been performing a long time, you've been healing a long time. Do you put on a show or perform with the mindset of, I'm going to heal those 3 in the front row today, 2 in the back?
No, but I would say absolutely not, because I can go on. So let me try to make this very brief. My voice teacher in college told me, sing to express, not to impress. That means not trying to affect a feeling from someone. All I can do is offer my heart and offer my voice. And I hope to touch someone, but you know what? I don't know if I will or not. That's not for me to decide. What is for me to decide is how I present it, how much love I pour into every single syllable I sing, every single note that I sing, and a single word that I speak. That's all I'm in control of. The outcome is not in my control.
Beautiful. I love that. That could not have been more beautifully put. Everybody, Music as the Message, episode 2 airs Sunday, February 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where can we see this, Adrienne?
There will be there's a Zoom link, and there are invitations on there's an event on Facebook. I think there's a lot of other publicity. Opera Wire has some publicity. Broadway World has some information. And there will be the initial program that's going to be aired on the 14th. And then I think Mila might be able to speak to what happens after the 14th.
Absolutely. So I should say you can find out more about the event at aopopera.org on our events page. And there is a registration link as well, so that we can make sure the Zoom link gets to you.
And it's free, by the way. It's free.
Yes. Although donations accepted.
What is it with you guys in burying the lead?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rita!
It's free, but you know what? Donations are always appreciated.
Right. Camille, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, I think everybody should come see our show on February 14th with their loved ones or with just themselves, loving themselves. I think it'd be great to have as many people as possible singing and dancing along with us on during the actual performance.
And children are welcome as well. I'm sorry, Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's PG.
No, I was just going to say, if you can't make...
Fabulous. Well, I want to thank CamilleHoward.com, MilaHenry.com, and AdrienneDanrich.com for joining me on Happy Hour Chats at the Joy Spot, where it's happy hour all the time. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye, y'all.
And
thank you.